This is going to be a real one, a real topic, a real convo. I had told some people that I was going to get on YouTube today. I usually go live on Mondays. Today, Monday kicked the door in, and I was like, I have to speak about it's very heavy in my spirit to speak. Well, March is social workers month, and I already plan to talk about wellness and everything, but I'm finding more and more a calling for me to be so transparent about certain things, and to make sure that we know it is okay to share, but also I'm getting just a lot of like messages and clarity and things like that regarding, but the whole purpose I entitled this is because I know for a fact that there are a lot of people going through it right now. There's a lot of people experiencing challenges like maybe never before or just pretty intensely. There's a lot of growth that could be happening. And I just want to kind of, first, I want to tell people, reassure people that whatever you're going through, you can absolutely you can get through it and get over it, and it will be better for it. You'll be victorious. But while you're in it, now I tie all of this in because it's been everything that I've done on this channel, even though it's largely been about hair, has been about my story. And I'm sharing. I'm very transparent now, very more so. Um, and let me do a what's up because I'm right. We about the floodgates of messages are about to come in. I do this thing where sometimes I'll start talking and then I'll just get I just get a lot of clarity, and then I've been doing that on TikTok lately. But I entitled this "Keeping Your Sanity Amongst the Insanity," because I know for a fact if you come to this video, you know someone or you personally have been feeling the intense, I don't want to say you've been going through it, but you've been feeling a lot of the shifts, a lot of changes. There's a lot of things going on. I'll put it that way. It could be very emotional. And the reason why I say this, I wanted to talk about this on a Monday that I usually talk about hair, is because this has been, this has been something I've been getting a lot of experience navigating life's challenges. Hey, okay, I I got a first troll. I don't have an OnlyFans. Maybe I should have one, right, for my feet. But anyway, I'm gonna be serious. I shouldn't have looked at the comment. With greetings, W. Um, Let me get in my zone, y'all. I can't look at the comments because while I was growing my business, I've been through what I felt. I call it some people call it a dark night of the soul, a very trying, testing time in your life where you feel like everything, everything that could go, that could happen has happened. Housing instability, maybe it could be people that have gone through loss, death, divorce, having a baby, being a single mother, going through court, whatever it was, like whatever it is. And I've been through those situations, but this was like another experience. And I think a lot of people are having a collective experience that it's like you playing dodgeball, like just I need a moderator. I need to take like, all right. I'm gonna put you in timeout, okay? Because you're doing too much. Okay. Um Here we go. All right. So if there's people that are growing businesses, for me, I was doing this business. I'm gonna be honest and transparent, navigating being a single mother, navigating emotional abuse and I say some physical because I don't play. I'm sorry. I always said it always got right to the point where it was about like they been breaking stuff around me, but it didn't get to me because I was like, I think I would have like it would have been done for them. So, but it was still a very trying time, and I remember having to show up, whether it was in my home, whether it was in the studio, in the darkest of the darkest days, alone with no family, because family was also part of the situation that was not pleasant. And I had to show up for my clients. I had to show up for my business. I had to show up for fighting for a brand. To this day, I want leaving my experience to be inspiring or a lesson for people in perseverance, whether or not you get validation, whether or not you have people understand you, whether or not you even are known. It's not about that. It's about how you showed up for yourself, the lessons that you got, because every challenge that you are experiencing is to make you better. You have two choices. You can allow those situations in the external environment to run over you. You lay down like a doormat and allow it to trample you, take away, disconnect you from your dreams, your passions, make you feel like it won. Or you can use that and transform it into something so powerful and so victorious. So I feel like every circumstance and every situation that we are experiencing is our potential lessons. It is not a person on this planet that is not going to experience or has. I feel like collectively right now we are all experiencing something very uncomfortable that is going to take us to a higher and better version of ourselves. I have some quotes I want to share with y'all, but if it feels like insanity, right? Like you are, like, what is going on? I want you to first ask yourself, what is this situation trying to teach me? What am I supposed to learn from this situation? Because I guarantee you that once you find that out, the situation no longer serves its purpose because you're learning, right? So, I got distracted for a second. A situation's trying because the universe is not testing you; it's training you. You're being trained. I can go deeper, but it depends. This is like my hair channel. I don't know. I am gonna make another channel about mental health. But I'm not your average. Far from your average therapist. I do not agree with slapping labels, and I don't want people to identify with labels. A lot of people like to identify with labels. It feels like a little bit of a crutch. You're not your label. A lot of things are really powerful, creative, divine things about people, and they slap a label on it and they say, I'm limited because of this, when actually it could be a very unique and powerful part of yourself that you need to embrace and understand and navigate the world differently. But a lot of people over-identify with labels, and I also have my feelings about the overuse of medication and things like that. So I'm not your average therapist. I am a licensed therapist, licensed social work therapist, clinical. And so I have issues with my profession sometimes because there like people who are going through like spiritual things. Things that other cultures have experienced prior to the psychotherapy. Um, People have been experiencing certain things, and then psychotherapy is like, oh, just throw some medicine at them. Don't understand it, but I don't. So I'm a little different with that. But what I want to say is that I do know that just regardless of whatever we want to do, with our businesses, with our passions, with our interest, we are only going to be as good as how we navigate life. And so it doesn't matter what you are focusing on. If there are things, okay, one thing I do want to say about business is that it will bring out things in you. It will potentially trigger you in areas that you don't think are related. So if you have Business can feel very isolating in the beginning for a lot of people. People can struggle with feeling supported. If it's your passion, you'll have other things that might come out. It also tests relationships. And so I say all this to say that all of that happened at once for me, and some other people go through it as well. And next to having a baby or getting married or whatever, business is one of those big life situations where it's like um, you definitely, it definitely can trigger people. So, how you can keep sane? Absolutely have some boundaries with what you are allowing into your space, who you are allowing into your space, what you are putting into your mind. I'm gonna tell you this. Sometimes a lot of people have self esteem, self worth issues. And so when they're scrolling social media, when they're seeing certain things that other people or businesses are promoting, it can tend to make them and feed that inferiority that they think they have about themselves, which is not true. If you put boundaries around what you allow to go into your mind, what you allow to intake mentally, what you allow people to, interact with you in a certain way is very healthy. And people who respect themselves, respect boundaries. A good way to know how a person doesn't respect or care about themselves is how they respect and treat other people, how they respect other people's boundaries. So I always say it's always a sign of a healthy person to have them for themselves and to honor those of other people. Um, hey, treasure locks and tips. um, we always have these trolls on. I don't know how to like block people. Yeah, here we go. I think that's it. There we go. I probably going live vertically on the phone is different than going live on the computer. I'm seeing it does something where I think they're trying to reach this video is trying to reach out to more people, and they're like random people, and so people feel like the trolls are gonna. I've already seen 3 trolls. Like OnlyFans, somebody just said something stupid, trying to be derogatory. Please don't do that. Hop off. Like it's not necessary, but I'm not gonna pay attention to it. So boundaries is the first way you're gonna navigate. Because I'm just blocking the trolls because you don't this channel's not for you anyway. Um the second is communication, right? Any opportunity that you can get to talk through something, do it, because again, you can tell how healthy a person functions by what they do too. So if someone doesn't tell you, and all of a sudden down the line they got a laundry list of things about you that they could have addressed then, um you do the same as well. Like if there's something you can say in the moment or not too far after. I have a really good friend and I love her. We are different as night and day, but the thing she says to me is, "Oh, I wanted to say this about you last time we were on the phone." Da-da-da. And things that could be like hard conversations, I listen to her. I go, okay. And then I say my point of view. But I know that her intention is not mean. It's not malicious. That's why she's even addressing it. Because she's like, I'm not gonna carry this around. Like if you let things fester and don't address it until later, like you created all types of stories, it sits there. So I think a real sign of maturity and really having boundaries and keeping yourself sane is addressing something as close to it as possible. Hey, when you was talking about something the night before or something that happened a little while ago, it's good and healthy as opposed to just letting things linger. You're going to drive yourself crazy too. So I communicate. If somebody asks you if there's something wrong, communicate it. Like you have to really truly honest. Like I think the people who are moving and being genuine are going to be the real the ones to navigate all of these things easier, because like however spiritual you want to take this, these situations that we are encountering, and we are encountering a lot right now, are only designed to get us to be our best. So if that's not what the people who are struggling the most are those who are fighting against, like some people are, including myself, may have a old way of thinking, may have a way of approaching something, may something is challenging you, um, to look at a situation, to not run from it, to confront it, whatever it is. And then digging deeper is another way to, so if I feel upset, frustrated, angry or something, I say, well, what is this really? What am I really upset about? What am I really upset about with this situation? And you'll come to find that it's something else. And this is the work that a lot of people aren't going to want to do. They're not going to want to hear this. They're not going to have this conversation, and that's okay. But those who are called to hear this, those who um, want to be their best selves and navigate this might be something helpful. Again, I think we all have stories of victory, but I know I have some stories I can share about how I've gotten out of the deepest hole of depression. And I don't even claim it anymore. I'm like, that took a while because there was a lot of times I was holding on to that crutch. My depression has made me, and it's like, wait a minute. I know I'm a mental health worker and I know I understand diagnosis, but they're guides. It's not a label. It's not a label. So for me, I had to tell myself it's not a label. But there are people who truly are going through those symptoms. Dig a little deeper. I implore you to just dig a little deeper. This is all relevant, especially when we get into the hair industry. I'm gonna tell you, it started to open up a lot of things for me between this mind body beauty connection. Historically, culturally, hair across all cultures has been seen as spiritual. Almost every culture. There's reasons why certain cultures have like side curls, cover their hair, shave their hair, donate this, sacrifice their hair, have rituals about how they handle their hair. That doesn't just come out of nowhere. I do feel like there's a lot of energy that we can transfer. I feel like if people are in situations of crisis, or there's ways that that energy, the energy, and also is, I felt like we can transmit that, right? If I'm standing behind a chair and I'm all a mess, that's why I always felt like I needed to take a moment before I put my hands in a client's head, that I was taking a moment for myself to at least breathe and get my heart rate down and kind of clear myself enough so that I can smile and just pull out a smile. When I come on this channel a lot, that's what I'm doing. Sometimes things are going on. I remember literally being in line and things were going on, and I smiled, recentered myself, and said, I have to show up, in the way that I was doing for the topic I was doing. And there's a lot of people, I think we need to have more empathy towards other people, that people are doing the best that they can at their current state of awareness. Some people handle things different, but what I don't want people to be are doormats for people to trauma dump on you. And I also don't want people to do that to another person, unless this person is a person who is your confidant. They don't care. They tell you to get it out. They're your friend. You trust them. Your therapist. You trust them. Your whatever, your spiritual advisor. Otherwise, there are people that will throw their anger for something else onto you. It happens a lot. They're frustrated with something else that has nothing to do with you. We see that in any human interaction. We see this thing called transference, projecting. I call it trauma dumping too, depending on what's happening. Where you'll just get all of this, and you're like, you're scratching like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So you have to. What I first say is put your boundary up and don't receive it. Right? It's misdirected anger. If we learned to, this is the biggest thing I want to say as therapist, as a person, as a human, do not process your emotion. Do not process it. You don't, maybe in that situation, you need to do it later when you get home, but don't not process it, because that's what happens. There'll be something that'll trigger you, and then everything just like a flood on an unsuspecting, undeserving person that you ruin your relationship with because they triggered something. Maybe they did something that wasn't, but your reaction to them is far bigger than what was done, or their reaction to you. So you ever experienced that? I know some people have experienced that. I do this return to sender stuff too, because it's like, no, that's not for me to deal. That's your, like, taking accountability for what you may have done, but there are a lot of people that will be doing that to each other, especially now. You know how when you you call up a place and the representative answers, and you're already upset by the situation that you're calling about, but the representative answers you. They may get a little attitude with you. I don't have any money. And you start this a screaming match. That's like misdirected anger. That's what I mean. Like, okay, it was more to it than that. And that you just triggered. So if you don't, the only person that really truly hurts from people not facing and feeling their emotions and processing it and cycling it out their body fully is that person that is suppressing that. No one, I mean, like the person that really hurts, because um what it does in our brains, I feel it files and tucks away. And a file, like our brain is like a file cabinet machine. All right, you don't want to deal with it. It's going to tuck itself away in something that's going to be tapped by something unexpected. And then and it morphs into personalities, or like I just really tell people, including myself, because a lot of I'm transparent. A lot of what I've dealt with, I shared, I think on here or TikTok, about my body image and about, I'm going to share more about that later. I don't want to get into it. It's gone. I don't want to be everybody crying, but a part of the journey and why, I'm different size now, my face is fuller and I'm older too. Is because I made a commitment to face things that I need to face and not do things that I used to do to try to stay skinny or whatever. And the point with that? What's the point with that? Oh, the patterns that I was doing about my feelings was what was leads to the instability sometimes and fluctuations in my weight. I'm honest about that. And I really want to work with that in the future. um, so part of some of the therapy I do is around disordered eating because I can relate to, but it's what I wanted to say is that any suppression, some people smoke, some people do drugs, some people drink excessively, any imbalance, because of the processing of whatever that is. So I say, feel what you need to feel. Do not. And the worst advice we can give somebody is, don't cry. It's okay. Don't cry. Like, let them, maybe not, if they don't need to cry in the middle of the floor somewhere, but maybe take them to a space where they can. That's one of the best things that you can do. There's a quote. All is well. Everything is happening for my highest good. And from this experience, only good will come. I am safe, right? I am safe. That's a good thing to say when you feel anxiety, when you feel overly stressed, when you feel uncertain about what's happening, when you feel uncertain about um, just a high uncertainty. Some people are have a lot of things going on. But here's another quote I wrote today that I wanted to share. Whatever I focus on and add feeling to is going to come into my reality 100% of the time. Whatever I focus on and add feeling to is going to come into my reality 100% of the time. Are you focusing on the things you don't want all the time? Are you focusing on the things that piss you off all the time? Or are we focusing on what we do want in our reality? Because regardless, we're reinforcing and recreating that. I just had to say that on a spiritual note. I noticed that even in subtle things, like I always go back to business because this channel, I talk a lot about the hair business, but even in the type of clients I wanted, I started to focus on having a certain type of client or a certain type of person. And it ended up having that type of person in different versions. And I was just at some point, just extremely happy with the type of people that I was attracting to. And we have a lot of power in what we attract into our lives. I always want to just reinforce that. I want to reinforce that. There's nothing harder than having a conversation with someone that is so committed to only seeing the negative, right? If you had a client or a person, a customer, just want to complain. And although it's annoying, it also is very powerful in that it is creating that over and over again. And it's really literally driving that person crazy and creating that life that they don't want. So I tend to say, if we are stuck in that space, it is really good to get those emotions out so that we can start having more gratitude for what is good. So we can allow more of that. That's going to help you get through what seems like insanity, what seems like craziness around you, and uncertainty, stress, challenges, things you don't want to experience. I ask why what is this showing me? And what am I to learn? And then what do I desire to see instead? I just wanted to say that. This may not be what everybody's used to. This is another part of me. This is a big part of me. This has always been a big part of me. So I thank people for listening and honoring and respecting that and listening without judgment. That actually made me emotional saying that, because one of the things that I struggle with is judgment. Think about what we struggle with, because we do it to ourselves first. Judgment and feeling like people are going to judge me. The best thing we can do is not give a F about what people think about us. You have some calling. Some people have some really high callings in this life, in this world, and they're not doing it because they're worried about what other people are saying about them. I stopped worrying about what a lot of people, but there's some things I worried about, some things I didn't. I've had family members when I wanted to do a hair business, because it was a hobby, it was a side hustle. And I already had just got a master's in social work from Columbia, and some people have dreams for you. You represent something for them, right? Family. Oh, they want to say their family member is this, and my son's a doctor, my daughter is a this and that. She went to Columbia. Like, that was the thing. But I'm not. You don't live life for them. You live life for you, right? I always wanted to go to Columbia, so I was happy that I graduated. But that wasn't just what I wanted to do with my life. I was very passionate about hair ever since I was young. So I was like, I want to do this side hustle, and I turned it into a business, and had to have my mother, tell me to sit and basically berate me about, why are you not doing social work? Why are you doing this hair thing? You're wasting, she said something. Meanwhile, the whole time I had been a social worker, I just was making more money with my hair business, and I was more passionate about what at that time, the work I was doing with hair versus the crazy jobs I was doing with social work. And you're not gonna get anywhere. And why don't you perm your hair? And then you eat meat. Why don't you eat meat? You're not gonna get a husband. Why are you not skinny if you don't eat meat? If you listen to the world, it would drive you crazy. Okay? I can't see none of y'all. I don't know if y'all comment. I don't block so many people. But I appreciate y'all sending likes. I'm learning to detach from whether or not you comment or like. I like it because I like to add what you say to what I say, and read your feedback. But yeah, the calling on my heart is higher than anything. It's like, just speak and share, because I think that many of us need to speak and share. Yeah. So that's, as we move into March, I was like, oh, I want to focus on wellness, but I had my mind set on talking about some of these conversations that I feel are important to talk about, because at the end of the day, we are human beings. I say navigating this experience. I call this life a playground. I say we are here to learn and have all these challenges, but if we refuse to learn them, we are only going to keep repeating them. And if we refuse to look inward at what we are being taught, and if we don't give gratitude, we are just going to make the situation harder for ourselves. And so much that I want to say, because I'm learning so much about resilience. I'm learning so much about not judging myself too much. Um, right now was just a rough day, so I'm a little bit like more emotional than normal. But it's just like, you're you have to understand, you're gonna be misunderstood. There's always gonna be people that have things to say about you, but you have to honor you. You have to honor what your passion is, and you will be able to have more joy and fulfillment in your life, regardless of what the external situations are. So I can't make my joy dependent upon how much money I have, how many followers I have. So what I noticed was the thing why social media is causing a lot of people to go into therapy is because there's a lot of people with unaddressed self-worth and who use external validation to fill in the gap. I have a client right now that to other people has the life. She's young and, has money and is getting married and like has a fairy tale life, but she's so struggling with self-worth on a deeper level than what we see. And so she depends on outside validation through jobs, through this and that. And she works for social media. She does social media for a company. That's so funny. But she does not do social media like that. But other people will say, and you'll find out that they grew up, they didn't really have friends, they didn't, and then so social media have a lot of followers, and they think, and some people think, judge other people's worth by that. You only got so and so people watching you. You only got this many. And my lesson in life I'm learning is to detach from that. Because and so if you don't there's things that'll just keep happening and repeating to force you to love yourself fully, to force you to find joy and happiness, to find the peace with yourself, whatever it is. I'm learning that external situations, there's certain things that happen that push you to get these lessons. So you wanna be observant and try to understand what each situation is trying to teach you. Will really shortcut your way through a lot. If we fight, like I remember something happened and I said to the family member, well, we have to learn what this lesson has taught us. Yeah, no, that's because we don't gotta trust family. And she keeps having the same lesson. I'm like, that's not what I meant, but you're holding on to something. But anyway, I'm gonna go. Thank y'all so much for listening. Letting me be honest on this Monday. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Yeah, and keep your sanity in amongst the insanity, okay? God. You are much more powerful than all of this, and dig deep into the knowing of that. Okay.